Hey there, gamers. This is Charlie with Gamer Professionals, and I'm here with
Nick.
And Ari as well.
we're going to be discussing the Ubisoft E3 2019 press conference. I already said that, um, and I don't know if any of you guys have not already seen our other prediction videos. I highly recommend that you do watch them because those are for press conferences that will have happened before Ubisoft. So please go back and watch that. There's not a plot to these necessarily, but you should definitely go and watch those just because so that you can watch them before the conferences happen. That way you have a little bit of context for those conferences if you're not exactly familiar with these companies and what they do. But yeah,
Just
so
listen to it in the car on your way to work.
exactly. All right. So do any of you guys have any like predictions that you want to get out there like right away?
I want Watch Dogs 3.
I'm pretty sure you'll get it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I didn't really like the first game, but I got the second game and I loved Watch Dogs 2, so I'm just like super I really want Watch Dogs 3 and I think it's going to be there and I'm super excited to see it.
well, we saw the Watch Dogs Legion thing confirmed on Twitter. Like, I don't know if it was Ubisoft or an official Watch Dogs account run by Ubisoft, but one of those two tweeted a video, and it was like very short teaser sort of thing with the Watch Dogs logo.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
that's definitely coming then.
I actually didn't see that,
Oh,
but
oh, you didn't?
I have to. Yeah, I did not, but I'll have to check it out. But
Oh, yeah. It's called Watchdog Legion,
interesting.
and I don't think this is. Are you okay with a minor spoiler for the press conference?
That's fine with me.
All right. So yeah. So minor spoiler for the press conference, guys. Apparently, there's going to be a large emphasis on how the NPCs in the world work and how you interact with them. And the game itself is called Watch Dogs Legion. So I'm assuming it involves you like being able to play as or interact with the NPCs in a deeper way than just like reading their phones.
I wonder if it will. 'Cause one of my favorite aspects of Watch Dogs 2 was like every time you'd hack into somebody's phone, you'd see like their name and like a little blurb about them. Like I
Mm-hmm.
know like it was maybe a little generic, but it was just like it gave a lot of life to the world.
Yeah.
Made it seem real. So I think that's really interesting. And I wonder if it'll be set in the same city. I wonder if it'll be like the same protagonist from Watch Dogs 2. Because
From
Aiden from Watch Dogs 1 is in Watch Dogs 2 very briefly.
mm-hmm.
So I wonder if it'll be the same protagonist again, or if it'll be a different character, and maybe the previous two characters will make appearance again. I'm not sure.
From what I understand, it's going to be set in London, and obviously not like real life full on London. Like it's going to be similar to what they did to Chicago and San Francisco and Watch Dogs 1 and 2 respectively. From what I've heard, at least.
Mhm.
Hearing that they're buffing up the NPCs and NPC interaction almost makes me wonder, especially without the big three there, whether or not they're doing like a straight up Watchdog sequel, or if they're maybe trying something different. Like
Mhm.
instead of the bespoke GTA style single player open world campaign, instead you have something more like systemic, right? Like interacting with these NPCs and sort of more dynamic objectives or something.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I definitely I feel like the first two Watchdog games like definitely tried to copy certain aspects of GTA. So I feel like if they
Mhm.
could distance themselves a little bit more, that would be very beneficial to the.
And I think that one recent open world game that I actually haven't had a chance to play because I don't own a PS4 that they could draw from that is set in a city but isn't GTA or Watch Dogs is Spider Man, and I think they could do some really interesting like not necessarily traversal techniques that you could do, but some really interesting like fast travel stuff. Like because London, same with many other cities, and I'm not 100% sure because it's been a while since I played the first Watch Dogs and I haven't had a chance to play the second one. But I'm pretty sure. Did they include like public transit as a fast travel mode?
No, I don't
Yeah,
think
you
so.
could. They had like trains sort of hanging around Chicago, but
Mm-hmm.
you couldn't use that as fast travel. It was more just, hey, I'm gonna hop on it and make it go fast. Like,
Yeah, and I don't think there's any. I think you could. I don't remember if you could fast travel or not in Watch Dogs 2. I think you could, but I don't think it was like, oh, you hop on the train, just kind of spawn.
Well, I think that using London's somewhat well known public transportation system might be a really good thing, and a really good way to some other obviously that among other things would be really interesting for some amount of culture, because obviously when you set a game in a real life when you put a game in a real life setting or try to adapt a real life setting, you see it from games across the spectrum. I mean, Pokemon to GTA, but they try and incorporate aspects of the culture of the place, and I think that including stuff, some local culture elements and some local daily life elements would be really cool.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that would give a lot of life to the world
Mm-hmm.
and just the general.
And given Watch Dogs is and Ubisoft's penchant for sort of attempting political commentary or taking real life factors into account, I don't think it's an accident that you're setting a Watch Dogs game in London, which has one of the most extensive surveillance networks of any city, and also around the same time you have all this Brexit stuff happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to play around with that if it's
And
set in London.
also in the same way that our current uh, governing body is controversial to say the least. From what I understand, the political situation in the UK is also very similar, so I'm sure that there's going to be some reference to that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe when they take pot shots at the Tories, then there'll be less of a sort of scaredy backlash as we had with Far Cry 5. We have that really jaw-dropping opening. No, 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 no. It's not okay. Look, I know it looks like guys. It's not right-wing cultists in Montana. They're cultists. They believe in Jesus, but they're more just generally crazy and hallucinating and think about doomsday stuff. I don't know. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. And I think that, but I think that Watch Dogs as a whole, I think they have a lot that they can do, and I think that, I mean, we saw a big jump in quality from 1 to 2, and I think that,
Absolutely.
and if we see a similar or comparable jump in quality, maybe not the same amount, but if we see another jump in quality, I mean, Watch Dogs 3 could be on the level of a GTA 6. Or
Yeah, and
maybe in
it really
quality.
is a yeah, it really is a shame because I think that because people didn't really like the first game, that a lot of people skipped the second game just because they didn't like the first game, and the second game is so much better than the first.
Kind of like what
So
happened with Titanfall.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think people should pay attention to Watch Dogs 3 because Ubisoft has been or Watch Dogs Legion. I think Ubisoft has gotten a much better track record lately for making quality games.
Absolutely.
So I think people, should be paying attention to it.
All right, check us out. Watchdog Legions. 5-on-5 hacker fights. Launches terribly, but over years is updated to get to a point of sustainable. No, I'm just completely being an idiot. But
that's the old Ubisoft.
Yeah, I do think that Watch Dogs 2 is a huge jump in quality to 1, and this is actually a really good opportunity to sort of set a tone for the series, right? Because right now I only have 1 and 2, and right now it's like, well, 1 was really mediocre and 2 is pretty good. And now if we have a new one that's even better than 2, we can actually really set an identity for the series that people remember.
Absolutely.
Instead of that game that looked really good in 2012 that did not look so good in 2014.
And I think we've kind of milked Watch Dogs enough. Can we move on, or does anyone else?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Oh God, absolutely.
But yeah, and I think on top of Watch Dogs, I think another safe bet. I mean, they literally said Watch Dogs Legion at E3. I think aside from that, other safe bets are going to be some of their other games that they're updating in services. Your For Honors, your Starlinks, your Tom Clancy, the Division game. I think that.
Oh, we're gonna get a lot of Division probably.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the stuff we're doing for year 1, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and obviously the next Assassin's Creed game will be talked about a lot.
Actually, they're taking the year off.
Oh, really?
Yes, they're taking this year off. But it's been pretty thoroughly teased, rumored, and all but leaked that.
Because I've seen a ton of about the.
Sorry.
I just assumed that they would be at. I just assumed it would be at E3.
Yeah, I mean, from what I understand, Assassin's Creed and Skull and Bones are both missing E3.
Really? really.
Yeah,
So
because
Assassin's Creed I knew, but Skull and Bones I thought would show up.
so Skull and Bones was actually delayed outside of 2019. It's been delayed to like I think March of 2020 now.
Mhm.
And from what I understand, they're completely taking E3 off, or it's still been delayed to 2020 or past March of 2020, and they're taking E3 off this year for Skull and Bones and Assassin's Creed.
So yeah, what we were saying about the Division 2 being like their big point of interest, well, that makes a lot of sense now.
Well, actually, so this is all this information that I have came from one release. They said they have 4 first-party games that are AAA that we didn't know about aside from Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
Mm.
So that means we have 3 AAA games that we don't know anything about, and apparently they're all coming out before the end of March of 2020.
Do you think Nintendo is going to make any appearance at this press
God,
conference?
I hope so.
Mario and Rabbids Battle 2.
That
would be
I would
really
love that. I would be so happy. Last year, when they did the Star Fox thing, so let me go back a little bit. In 20, I sound crazy, but like I like Star Fox a lot, and like that whole world, I just love it. But in 2017, when they teased they didn't tease, they put out like some original initial gameplay for Starlink. I was like, they have to put Star Fox in this. They're putting it on Switch. They're making special controllers for the Switch. They got to do it. And then when they had the original like from the original Star Fox game, and they cut into an R and then they faded into like an R-wing coming out onto the screen, I lost my mind. I was so excited, and I hope they do something like that again this year.
Yeah, I think when Starlink was first revealed, and they showed off the Star Fox content, I feel like pretty much everyone at that point thought it was gonna it was meant to be on Switch. What is even the point of getting it on the other 2 consoles?
Right. But what franchise do you if you guys do think that Nintendo's going to be represented at this press conference, what franchise do you think they're going to have?
That's a tough one.
Realistically, the Star Fox. That's a good one. Definitely some Mario.
Yeah, I mean, Ubisoft is. I feel like Ubisoft is definitely doing stuff with Nintendo IPs that Nintendo themselves would never do.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think it's really just anyone's guess at this point. You know, they could do. I mean, they did Mario with they did Mario in an XCOM format with laser guns. So I mean, it's like no one with the rabbits. So like no one expected that. So it's like, who knows really.
My desperate fanboy in me wants F-Zero.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Dark Horse can't F-Zero, but even Nintendo won't do anything with F-Zero.
Right.
Maybe Ubisoft will.
Oh, I wish. But
or maybe Ubisoft could make a new Punch-Out game or something.
Yeah, that would also be really cool.
You just punch the rabbit.
Right.
Sometimes I wish.
Or something will have motion controls similar to Just Dance or something. Or arms.
There has to be Just Dance thing, right?
I think
the same old open with the parade,
right,
and that creepy bear.
Yeah,
I love the
and the
I love him too. I'm just
people think like the parade thing is like cringe, but I don't know. I kind of enjoyed it last.
Yeah, it was fun. It got me excited. It got me energetic. I was dancing in my seat, and then I was dancing again once they showed Star Fox.
I mean, real talk. I feel that a lot of cringe, capital C overused term cringe from press conferences comes from sort of corporate speak, that kind of we are enhancing the brand while talking to you, the gamer, like the kind of stuff where like Microsoft puts a straight up car on stage, or that kind of thing, or like if you remember like way way ago when Skype first came to the Xbox, that awful conversation on stage. But Ubisoft is always just so genuine, no corporation in their right mind would put like a Mardi Gras parade down the alleyway into the stage with this dancing bear.
Right.
But they did, and I love it. It's great.
And like in the past 2 years, we've had like 7 people on stage crying. Like no other way. Like generally, like, I think if Bethesda or Sony or Nintendo or Microsoft did that, it would be seen as kind of in some way disingenuous. But the way that it happened, yeah, I agree with you completely. Like those raw, like just pure happy moments where it's just like
Yeah,
they like to just have fun with their press conferences. I think is
when
something that's.
the like when the two developers last year, when they were walking off stage and their mics were still on, and they said, "We did it, we did it." They were so
Oh,
happy with
Yeah.
themselves.
yeah.
I thought that was great.
Although I will say that Ubisoft themselves can also sometimes veer into the not so great territory. I think we learned our lesson after talking to that Assassin's Creed cosplayer in the crowd. It's like, so why are you here? Why are you dressed up as the guy from Assassin's Creed? Oh, Ubisoft paid me to be here. Thankfully, we won't have that again.
Yeah.
And no more Mr. Caffeine. But
Yeah.
in general, aside from pulling those skeletons out of their closet, I think they're generally really, really fun and really sincere.
So aside from the Nintendo game and Ghost Recon Breakpoint, what else do you guys think we're going to see in terms of those unannounced games?
Did we talk about Splinter Cell yet?
We didn't, and that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think one of those games that we don't know about is going to be Splinter Cell. I think it's about time.
Mm-hmm.
Bring back Splinter Cell.
And I mean, we had I don't remember if it was the creative director or like the lead designer or someone who's very important on Splinter Cell who was deeply involved after he left Ubisoft come back to Ubisoft and then tweet we're working on another Splinter Cell. Delete the tweet, say guys, please don't retweet this. I'm going to lose my job. And then say it was a joke, and then have the official Ubisoft account in official responses to news outlets say it's a joke. So I'm pretty sure that it wasn't a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say. So actually, just to sort of jump to the rumor mill here, when you first said that, I was like, oh, that has to be Clint Hawking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Clint Hawking, he led up Chaos Theory and the original Splinter Cell. Went on to do Far Cry 2. Kind of since then bounced around from developer to developer, always getting canned and never making a game for like the past 10 years. And then he came back to Ubisoft, and I was like, oh, well, he has to be doing Splinter Cell. I just looked it up, and apparently he's the one heading Watch Dogs Legion.
Oh.
So he is not doing Splinter Cell.
Oh.
He's gonna coming soon to Watch Dogs Legion, malaria and bullets in your arm. So I don't know who's the big lead guy then.
Yeah, I mean, if that was him, then my bad.
Again, like just look this up, and who knows how true that is.
Right.
Sort of the nature of the rumor mill, but anyway I can get my Clint Hawking, I'm happy about it. But what do you think? I know it's sort of veering off a little bit. What do you think a modern Splinter Cell looks like anymore? Because the last one we had was Blacklist, which is a really long time ago, and stealth has changed a lot since then.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of hope for something maybe closer to Metal Gear Solid gameplay. I think that would be really, really good. Something for Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah, specifically 5. You're not thinking tank controls.
No.
3. Okay.
Yeah, I definitely think that like taking over that Metal Gear Solid role is a really like safe bet because I think that with the way Kojima and Konami parted ways and the way that that Metal Gear Survive happened, if you could even say that, it just wasn't good. It wasn't pretty. It was just entirely bad. The whole thing about it was just like really negative, and I think that that kind of climbing into that role and kind of replacing Metal Gear as the reigning like stealth game, like the gold standard of stealth games. I think reestablishing themselves as that is just like overall not just a safe business play, but also just like a really good thing because I think we don't really stealth is, I don't want to say it's dead, but it's not it's not a thriving genre.
I think so. When I played Metal Gear Solid 5, I did it stealthily as I could, but you also had the option of like blowing shit up if you really wanted to. But I think the stealth elements of Metal Gear Solid are so good that if they took those and they implemented it into Splinter Cell, that I think like Splinter Cell could be essentially a good replacement where it's like, yeah, you have freedom to like choose what you want to do in any scenario and give players more choice in the way they tactically approach a situation. But I think it really just makes it makes plenty sense to me because I don't think we're gonna get a proper Metal Gear Solid game for a while, especially after Metal Gear Survive and Kojima leaving and everything like that. So,
and mentioning Metal Gear Solid 5, I would be, if Splinter Cell does come to show, which, 50-50 on that. But if it does come to the show, 90% chance it's open world, right? Like Ubisoft has done so many open world games. They have the tech, like, stealth and games in general have been moving in that direction. I'd be really surprised if a Splinter Cell shows up and it turns out, hey, we're doing a 10-hour single player, handmade levels kind of No. It has to be like an open world Metal Gear Solid 5 deal, I think.
And I think that's going to be somewhat controversial.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean,
yeah, because everyone's like, "Oh, Ubisoft's making another open world game." Everything from Ubisoft is open world with their collectibles and their,
that being, I'm happy to see Splinter Cell go open world. There better be like less than 20 icons on the map at a given time.
Yeah,
that would be my one thing. But yeah, Splinter Cell fans definitely more than any are super, super picky. I remember when Blacklist first came out, I went, "Oh my god, stop Michael Ironside! There were explosions! This isn't my Splinter Cell." I think I was probably one of them, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see absolutely on that.
And then, do you guys have any other guesses for that last game?
So, I saw a leak or a rumor of this game called Roller Champions.
Oh,
yeah.
It's like their Rocket League kind of game where it's like
it's a roller derby.
Yeah, it's a roller derby. I think that'll be there, and I think that game's gonna be awesome. So that's my last prediction.
I hope that they're gonna have people roller skating on the stage.
They roller skate into the arena. Oh, that'd be... They have the panda on skates.
Yeah, absolutely. Michelle Ancel shows up in skates as well.
Oh man!
Hello, everybody.
And honestly, based on how they've gone in years past, I think that's probably going to be how they open the show.
Oh, that would be a perfect way to open the show because it would be unexpected, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So
even though we're expecting it
right now, yeah. Even though you heard it here first exclusively.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, they were kind of like that with Mario and Rabbids too, where it was like they did not acknowledge the leaks at all, whatsoever. Whereas Bethesda was just like, they were like tweeting at Walmart of Canada, screw you guys.
So besides the unannounced leak, do you think is there any chance of Beyond Good and Evil 2 showing up at this thing?
There's gotta be. I'm pretty sure.
There's that live stream they're doing beforehand, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but I do think it'll be at the actual press conference in some capacity. I think we might get maybe another short teaser of some kind, or maybe because obviously we'll get a lot of information at the launch. But I do still think it'll be there in some form or another.
I also feel like Beyond Good and Evil 2 at this point is this it's like this albatross hanging around Ubisoft's neck where they have to bring it out every show or people will think it's dead.
Mm-hmm.
After all the drama that ensued, just waiting for it to come out after that first trailer. And now you kind of almost have to show off a demo or two every year just for proof of life.
Kind of like Final Fantasy VII.
But I feel like everything that we've seen from it so far is it just the game to me still seems very far off. I don't think it might even be a next gen game, to be honest with you. So I feel like while people want to see it, I feel like if 1 year they took a break from it, then it would not be unexpected.
Yeah. Joseph Gordon-Levitt's asset artist can only work so quickly.
Right. I totally forgot that was a thing that existed.
Oh my god, Ubisoft.
So are we settled on whether or not they're going to show up?
I think they should, just because the narrative around that game has gone so out of control. You kind of have to show it off just to show that it still exists. But the rational part of my brain goes, it's a really long way away. I wouldn't be surprised they didn't show it.
I feel the same way.
I honestly I think if we see it, I think they might show off a not necessarily just a short teaser. I think they'll do maybe a short teaser into a short alpha trailer, but I don't think that'll last more than 10 minutes at most. But I think that having some kind of alpha gameplay trailer is would be really good for like getting people to know what the game actually is, because it's kind of in that Death Stranding state right now where we don't know what it is really.
And also like good. Like there are so many games now that the moment they're announced, we go, "Oh, okay, so it's going to be this meets this, like this."
Mm-hmm.
And it's really nice to still have games out there like, I don't know what that's going to be.
Yeah.
I've seen so many trailers where I still don't know what's going to happen, and that's
Right.
really exciting.
I know we brought this up earlier. I know we have Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think that we're going to get another Tom Clancy game in the form of a sequel to Rainbow Six Siege? Because Rainbow Six Siege is still extremely popular.
Yeah.
I think with like the way the brand's working right now, I think Rainbow Six isn't going to get anything new. If there's a new Tom Clancy, it's not going to be Rainbow Six, just because so many people are still playing Siege, and that thing's doing so well for Ubisoft still.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could dust off something older, like I don't know, End War 2. Get weird with it. I don't know. Hawks 3.
And
yeah.
I don't.
Do you think Rainbow Six will get a sequel at some point?
I think.
Yeah,
I think so, but I think it's gonna be a few years off, because I mean, this is obviously all just conjecture from my standpoint, but it doesn't seem like it would be the best. It would be in Ubisoft's best interest to release two Tom Clancy games in a year, because chances are they're not going to put it out anytime aside from holiday, like the holiday season,
Right.
because that's like a military shooter style thing. So they're probably not going to want to put it out any other time aside from holiday. I mean, obviously there are exceptions to that rule, but it's too big of a company and it's too much of a genre where that's going to sell best around that time of year.
Right.
Gosh, I mean, I guess we should talk a little bit about Breakpoint, even though I honestly don't have that much enthusiasm for it.
Neither do I. I didn't play the other game, so
Yeah, me neither.
I just think it's like an interesting. I don't know, after everything everyone talked about with Wildlands, the one thing they took away from it was, okay, so tired open world format, that's okay. That's okay. But let's make it not set in Bolivia. Let's put it on Biodiversity Island with John Bernthal.
I think the best thing that they did with that game is do the Predator update. So if they can do something cool like that for Ghost Recon Breakpoint, but actually have it in the game at launch, then I think people will care about it.
Mm-hmm.
I sort of, I don't know. I'm torn, because on the one hand, Wildlands did nothing for me, but also I knew a lot of people who stayed with it, and they actually updated and supported that game really well, as Ubisoft is wont to do these days. I guess the most I could ask for with Breakpoint is it makes those fans happy, and it also gets the same level of support. Right?
Mm-hmm. And not relating to any specific game, but we did talk about a little bit of Nintendo getting some love, and it's pretty clear that anything that's coming out from Ubisoft in the next year is probably going to also be on PS4 and Xbox One. But what we haven't talked about is Google Stadia.
I bet pretty much everything will show up on Google Stadia,
Yes.
because Ubisoft loves their ports. They will put something on anything.
And they love taking that risk too.
They'll do it. Yeah.
Because we did, I don't know if you guys watched the Google Stadia press conference that was today, on the day of recording at least.
Yeah.
But they had a lot of bigger studios. I believe they've promised so far 31 games at launch. And I don't think there's a universe in which we don't see Michel Ancel do his typical introductory cold open sort of monologue, and say, hey, we're also going to be part of this next generation of thing, just to make sure the shareholders are happy.
Yeah, I wonder if the Ubisoft press conference will be in any way like a backdoor to more Stadia information, because that first Stadia release was pretty good, but the one today was just very, very light on information.
Yeah.
Like we got megabytes per second information, we had a little bit of pricing information, and no demonstrations of games whatsoever. So it'd be pretty neat kind of like the way that Ubisoft used to do tie-ins with Sony, like Assassin's Creed 3 demos or something like that. If you had like, oh, and by the way, all of our demos here today are running on Stadia in real time. Like that would be like a good gotcha moment.
Yeah, that would be really cool. And I think that would also be a good time to like test it, because obviously, or test it again, especially after the really shaky test that we saw last time they tested it, where people were trying to play Doom on the show on Google's on the GDC show floor, and apparently it was just laggy as hell.
Yeah, these sort of it. I mean, not to turn this into a Stadia discussion, but you have to wonder if even in a closed environment, it's shaky and not great. How is it going to perform in the wild?
Yeah, because they said that you only need 35 megabytes a second to do 4K.
And
like
60
that,
frames.
That blows my mind.
I think this is a good chance for, if Stadia shows up with Ubisoft, that's a good chance for them to sort of get the message back on track. Because right now it seems a little bit like, you're promising the moon, and I believed you at first. I believe you less now.
All right, so do you guys have any other like sort of prediction sort of things for the press conference aside from something huge or crazy?
I think maybe Ubisoft will talk about, they have like wasn't there rumors recently about Ubisoft is going to have a new like subscription service like EA Access, and I think they could talk about that.
Yeah, there's a little talk about that. I wonder. It depends on a couple things, right? It depends on whether or not, because I have no doubt that exists. That sounds like, from the creators of Uplay, I have no doubt they have a subscription service in the works. But I wonder if it's the right time to show it, how long they've been working on it. If they can, they will definitely show it now. But this also just might not be the time. That sounds like the kind of thing that they could have like their own stream.
It was
in the next couple of months.
It was funny. I was on Twitter and I saw IGN posted this like top 10 most exciting things to see at E3, and like in like I somehow in the top 10 was like Ubisoft's new like subscription service, and I was like, oh my god, nothing's more fun than another subscription service. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting.
The reality of needing that Corsair spoof video, like in reality, has never become more
right.
But yeah, that thing exists. I'm not sure we'll see it at the show.
All right. It seems like we've about wrapped this one up. I think we've discussed, everything we discussed, all four of those unannounced games. We discussed Beyond Good and Evil 2. We discussed Assassin's Creed. We discussed Skull and Bones. We discussed Watch Dogs. I guess we haven't really talked about Just Dance, but Just Dance is a given. It's a known quantity.
What is there to talk about, really?
I would feel bad talking about Just Dance. I have no idea what those games.
Bold prediction. I think the next Just Dance game is going to be open world. I'm calling it now.
I think they're putting.
Yeah.
I think they're putting Justin Dance in Smash Bros.
Yes. Okay, so in Just Dance, it'll be open world, but you need a traveling system, right? Because you have all this terrain to cover. So you're actually a trials bike driven by a rabbit.
Right. Yeah.
And you go around there, and then it's all. But the thing is, we need to introduce this with the right tone. So we'll get a pop song, but with a slow, dark cover for our new reimagined Just Dance.
Yeah,
that sounds like really. That sounds like those KFC Taco Bell cross promotional advertisements from when the Phantom Menace was in theaters.
Yeah. It's gonna be girls just want to have fun.
So it's gonna be Rabbit Peach then.
Yes, yeah. Of course. The icon, the main character of Mario and Rabbids.
All right, guys, that about wraps it up for this discussion. Thank you all very much for watching and listening. And Nick, where can they find you on social media?
You can find me on Twitter at NJF Productions and also on YouTube. And you can find my articles on the Gamer Professionals website.
And Ari, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Lapses in Taste and my Twitch channel, The Ronaldo Live. And I'll also be contributing from now on to Gamer Professionals.
And you guys can find me at CHAS_MKE on both Instagram and Twitter. And my YouTube is Chaz, spelled the same way as it is in my ats for Twitter and Instagram. Thank you all very much for watching. Make sure to let us know down in the comments below whether or not you agree with our predictions. Maybe you could even take a score if you feel like it. And give us some of your predictions too if you are interested. Anyways, guys, thank you all very much for watching. Please leave a like, please leave a comment, and definitely please subscribe. Peace out.